Technology is a complex and volatile industry. That is why it's high time to step up and call bullshit on big tech firms that only spew information that benefits them. This is With Absolute Specificity, the program that's unafraid to shoot from the hip about all things tech and marketing. Get your dose of accurate information with a generous portion of humor right here. Get frank wisdom and plain-spoken facts straight from the source with host Jason A. Wood. You can count on him to bring the harsh yet practical truths to the surface. Get ready for another episode of With Absolute Specificity.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of With Absolute Specificity, the podcast all about doing shit on purpose, man. That's kind of our mantra around here. Listen, we had such a great conversation last time with the team, with Mitch and Brittany, that I brought them back on for another one. I think that there's a lot of learning to be had out here with these kind of conversations. I know we have them internally, like on the daily. One of the things that's come up here this week that I think our audience guys are going to find really interesting is the perspective that our creative team takes on the use of AI. And I want to say it goes far beyond job security for them. It really is about more than that. It's about the health of the creative producing industry as a whole. So right now what we're seeing is AI being able to produce creative and content. We're seeing a ton of copyright lawsuits because machine learning is always going to go the most efficient route it possibly can. It's more efficient to grab content and stack it and seam it. It's faster to do that than it is to create it from scratch. So machine learning, I think, is always going to try to go that route. The problem is you can't borrow other people's words. You can't borrow other people's graphics. It doesn't work like that. So in conversations with one of our graphic artists, Mika, through an email thread, she, I think, crafted such a well-articulated case for why we as Specificity aren't going to use AI that I think it just converted into policy at AI. Guys, what do you think?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
What you said made perfect sense.
Yeah. And so what I'll do is I'll start off here if I can find it. And I know I can't with kind of sharing those thoughts from Mika, because I think they were just that powerful. But ultimately, what I think the sense I think our audience should have is this. Even if AI is great and it can do all this and you can avoid copyright, AI still requires the creative from the human being to create the elements that get used to produce graphics and video content, right? If you usher everybody out of this industry using AI and stealing their work, there's going to be nobody left to produce those creative, original elements that AI is going to leverage. So it's really kind of a vicious circle that you're creating with that. So with that said, I think her point is really well taken. So let's give credit where credit's due. Let me share with our audience her points that she makes that we found to be really pretty insightful. AI technology that produces art and creative steals from people who have no say in the matter. So in other words, I mean, if you're a creative artist, like our team is, like every marketing team, most employ, they go out and they produce things that get necessarily, because it's marketing, put into the public space. That doesn't, and nor should it, give up ownership of that creative art. And with AI, it does. So I think that's the point she's making there. So and that's the second point she makes, AI tech is extremely public. That means our work can be taken by other companies, even can take your idea. If you're a great plumbing company or you're a great, how would Nike feel if Reebok just said, that's a great ad, we're just going to take it? There'd be so many lawsuits. But the hope and the goal with AI is that doesn't filter down to people that don't have the wherewithal just to, conduct litigation left and right. I think that's, I don't know, maybe that's the hope. But I can assure you that every business owner that we do marketing for would sue their competitor for stealing their ad and sticking their own name on it. I think graphic artists would do the same. And I think a net result of all this can be is the formation of a group for the people that produce creative. And that being the case, I think that's what the road that's going to produce. Third point she makes, it's AI technology is unable to create truly original content. And we will not be able to separate ourselves from other agencies. So her point is to us that if we use AI to do ours, we're going to look like everybody else. Turn that on the market. I just couldn't agree with her more. If everybody's using AI, what's the articulated sales argument from one AI tool to another? We're stealing from this source, not that. So you'd be unique.
They have the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So the point is that I think she makes a great point. Using AI to produce creative is literally intellectual and creative theft. What do you think, Britt?
Absolutely, because the AI technology is just scraping all of these elements from the internet, and all of those elements are things other designers actually created. So it's stealing, even if it's not, the creative as a whole, it's stealing those elements from different creators, putting them together and ripping off those ideas.
Yeah. I think the primary, we'll call it a persona that really loves the idea of AI, or people whose marketing philosophy is just mass volume. Quality, yeah, here or there, but mass volume. So, and we all know people like that their entire marketing strategy is 37 posts a day. And it works to an extent. But if everybody has the need to adopt that strategy, what's your feed going to look like, man? What's your inbox going to look like? What's your, there is nowhere to run and hide and just enjoy some good content you want to see, because everything is going to cannibalize and everybody moves to a 10, 20 post across all platforms strategy, right, Mitch? I mean, and we see the analytics because we're not stupid. I mean, we tried that. I mean, we got some advice, on our TikTok page. Hey, more is better. Volume equals, and, share with our audience the result of those campaigns.
Oh, yeah. With the more is better idea in mind, with how many videos that are being created and put out into the digital realm today, so many people have tuned out a lot of those videos.
Yeah.
Just because they're peppering everyone's feeds. I mean, you pull up your Facebook, you pull up your Instagram, and you scroll for a couple minutes and you'll see a countless amount of videos that these digital creators are putting out there. So it's hindering everybody's success in that form. And,
for me,
relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was going down that road. For me, it's like, it's a nursery rhyme that we all should learn from, or fable with the boy that cried wolf. Like, if you're saying 70,000 things a month and it's just, different words, same thing, what's going to happen when you have something really important to say and you want everybody to pay attention? What then?
Past.
Yeah. I mean, so suddenly when you need traction, when something comes up in your business that really is measurable and impactful and serious, and you've just trained an audience of people to go, yep, and because they see you 8 times a day, then ultimately I think you do more harm than you do good. And Mitch doesn't want to share this, and I get why, but I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happened. We got some advice too, which is not bad advice, by the way. It's just not good for us. I think we learned it's not across the board bad, because for the person that gave it to me, obviously it works. We're talking about something really, really successful, man, in the stratosphere out there. But to do more volume. So we started with our TikTok page. We have a fairly large following on TikTok. So, okay, let's do this volume approach. Our engagement metrics plummeted. We went from getting 1,000 to 10,000, sometimes 60, 70,000 views on our content to 112, 146. And so we did this. And so the mass volume content approach juxtapose social algorithms is counterintuitive. So obviously, TikTok is favoring 2 things: long form content and engagement. They favor long form content because it's what their users like. They like the more deep drill, intelligent type of things. The days of the 7-cent thirst trap may work for, these girls doing it for, that purpose, but it doesn't work in business. I mean, there's no 7-second thirst trap. We're going to set a specificity to get people to follow our only marketing page, right? So that's not.
We talk too much to fit anything in seconds anyways.
Absolutely have too much to say. That's kind of how I prefer to say it. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, we have some things to say that we think the market, we know the market should and wants to hear. So we reverted back to our way, Mitch. What happened to our engagement metrics?
Went right back up, back to normal.
I would say even surpassed before, where we're averaging, maybe 1,000 or 1,500. Now I think we're averaging, 2,000 or 3,000, because you get those that are hitting 800, 1,000, but we're popping one for 5, 10, 15,000 views every week, at least, if not 2 or 3 times a week. The point is that AI is going to force a mass strategy approach if you can't use creative to create and drive contrast. And if AI is going to bastardize creative, and you can't use that tool, you're not really adding a tool to your toolbox. You're giving one-man shows an edge to compete with buttoned-up businesses. right? That's really all that's doing is you're giving the person that doesn't have a robust enough business to have a graphic or creative team to go in and be able to look like they do. So really what's it doing? It's helping people trick their audience into thinking that they're more credible than they are. And to Mika's point, and Brittany, I'll let you elaborate on this. To Mika's point, there's no way to stand apart from your competitors if everybody's using the same freaking buttoned up tools, right? Same AI.
Right. And AI doesn't know your clients. So, our designers, a lot of times we keep them on the same clients because they've seen what works, know what the client likes as far as a look and feel, what we need to say to their audience. And AI doesn't know that part. It doesn't have that relationship, had the conversations with the client and what's been successful and not in the campaigns.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, there's a whole other side to our business that you guys don't really see on the day-to-day anyway. Of course, you see it. And that's the Pubco side, right? The investor side. I specifically, CEO get asked all the time, what is AI doing in terms of AI? Or what is Specificity doing in terms of AI? What are you guys doing? I mean, are you using it? Are you going to deploy it? And, look, we specialize in audience build up, man. That's our bag. We just do it better. We do it outside the ad tech ecosystem. It's better, best. That's what we are. That being said, I'm on a call, 6-8 times a week, looking at AI tools that claim to be able to do granular audience build out. And what AI will never be able to do, because it is machine learning, is reason. They can't draw correlation to things like emotion, to things like, hobbies, interests. They just don't. AI is a machine. They don't understand the human element to human markets. And all of our markets are human because humans make the decision. So an AI from Specificity from the AI perspective, we're not only not concerned about AI, we're actively looking for something that can automate our intelligence. Just not there. And I've not seen anything even close. And I've looked at tools owned by $1 billion company purporting that it can. Great. Well, here's an exact audience. You guys, here's an exact audience that we need to arrive at. There you go. Go get it. Use your AI tool and get it. And what comes back? Generic, broad-based, click data-driven, these people clicked on that kind of ad. Well, that's fantastic. Do they have the wherewithal to buy? Oh, so the whole context layer, data layering. Oh, you can't. Anyway, it's not even close, and it's not going to be close. Maybe when we get into wearable tech and you get like fluidity of motion and you get all these kind of analytics, maybe. But right now, we're miles away. But this creative piece, to me, matters. The ability to understand what your audience wants to hear, type it into AI and think that it can articulate that better than somebody that understands because they live in that market. I just don't see it happening. What do you guys say?
I agree. I do think AI can be beneficial in some aspects. So like Chat GPT, if our mind or strategy is stuck on a certain track and it's hard switching or getting other ideas, putting in a piece of copy and getting another way to say something, or if you need a certain amount of characters and can't figure out a way to say it, but that's not relying on that. That's just helping us think of things in a different way to get to another creative level.
So what you're saying is AI is really useful if you leverage it as a thesaurus.
Yeah.
but for thought, right? A thesaurus for thought. Yeah. The problem with that I see, and I know it's our challenge, is it great? So, we're redoing our website right now. We're going to announce a huge rebrand. We're so excited about it. It's going to be dope. And I'm so glad we're not posting 37 times a day the last month. So that we have this important thing to say to the market, they're going to actually see it and hear it. But that aside, when you're looking at this, even when you do use AI to try to parse language and come up with, you have to vet it against what else is out there in the public space. So often AI says, here's a great way to say this, not because it created it, and you just found it somewhere else. And
right, you scraped it from someone else.
Same situation.
Yeah. It's like if the marketing strategy were this, Me Too is a great way to go. So if your marketing can be viewed by all of your competitors and they go, yeah, me too, then that's not good marketing, guys. And that's what AI produces, in my view. I mean, at best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this comes down the pike. I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see what they do. I know we're looking forward to competing with AI-driven agencies. I can't wait for that opportunity. I think we probably already are, but, because of what we do being smarter, when we're in a competitive landscape in the sales environment, our win rate is so high. that we don't get much chance to compete with clients that know we exist. Usually when they know we exist, we have a client, right? So that is what it is. So the evolution of this is going to be interesting to see. Mitch, what do you think? What do you see? And I know I'm putting you on the spot and you hate it when I do that, which is specifically why I'm doing this. What do you see as far as fundamental applications that can come out of AI from an analytic perspective?
Oh, I mean, if we can start tying some of the campaign analytics to AI, we can start optimizing the campaigns a little bit smarter and quicker. Like if the AI is able to take in some of these analytics and make some decisions based off of that, obviously that we're nowhere close with AI right now to do that. I don't know exactly how that would be set up, but I think that would speed up the process of seeing a metric, and based on previous data that have to be plugged into the AI, it can make a very quick and fast decision on what should change with the campaign. So if something like that ever comes around, we're going to be right on that.
It's anticipatory. It's anticipatory analytics, right? So if AI can spot trends faster, like whereas humans, we segment an audience by say 5 different what we consider to be high likelihood conversion segments. And a trend, we always identify a trend as a reason to make a move, right? Right. If AI can spot other variables in the data that illuminate that trend is getting ready to occur, man, I'm interested in AI. I don't know about you guys, but I would love that.
Definitely.
But, I think there's some application there. So I don't know. Are you seeing anything yet, Mitch, that's even purporting to do that or telling us is that a thing yet?
I've been keeping my eye out. There's a couple companies that are trying to take that angle, but it doesn't seem like it's buttoned up yet.
Yeah, well, that's always the problem.
Based, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. A losing strategy is anything a consumer can just say no thanks to, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a real good strategy. I had this great conversation with that. We're going to put some content up here as soon as we get it done. We went and visited one of our clients. Mitch came with us too. That does these, vitamin drips and these health wellness drips. And if you can't tell, by the way, man, wow, I loved it. I am just juiced, man. I slept like a baby. This isn't a commercial. I'm not mentioning the client here, but I'm just telling you, Mitch, because I know how skeptical you are. I'm on fire. To the point where Renee yesterday was like, did you take your medicine? Yeah, I did. I really did. So Jason with extra energy, I might get banned from these things.
It's a problem.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I love it. But I was having this great conversation with her. And she was concerned about because I was going to do a case study. And I said, with us. And I said, it's going to be great. Your product's good. It'll be great. And she goes, well, what do you do when it's not? And I said, listen, here's the honest thing from a marketer. Great marketing can sell great products. Unfortunately, great marketing can sell shitty products too. And that's why we try to be so picky and choosy with what we do. But, sometimes that's the fear with AI is that it can emulate smart digital strategy that ruminates from a company that's really good at what they do because they're doing it at such a high level. If AI can emulate that for somebody that's scamming or has a far inferior product, removing the human element is not a good thing for consumers with their ability to vet a product, right? It's just not. If AI can produce a face and a voice and a video talking about how great a product does or is or does or whatever the case is, without ever having to actually have that real user experience, man, is that really a world we want to live in where, companies that are just doing saline drips telling you the vitamins, but man, they've got this AI video content that it looks like 1,000 people just love the result. It's scary to me. It's, nothing scares me, but you know what I'm saying? It's scary for consumers, I think, to go down this road. I see real problems for consumers. And not to mention the privacy issues, but that's a whole another topic. And Mitch hates it when I put him on the spot. So we won't do that today. So guys, final thoughts on AI and creative and AI for consumers.
We've already touched on all those points that you brought up and that Mika brought to you. We will not be taking that route. We like to keep the human element and the strategy and everything. And right now, AI isn't able to do that without ripping off other people.
Reasoning and instinct. To me, AI lacks both. We'll never have both. It doesn't even purport to have either. And if you can do great marketing without reasoning and instinct, have at it. I don't think you can. Mitch, final thoughts.
To Britt's point earlier, right now, using AI as a resource rather than a sole strategy is what I sometimes get into. So when Britt was saying, like, if you ever need some inspiration, if you ever get stuck, sometimes I just hit ChatGPT and see what else is out there. Now, I'm not going to use anything word for word, of course, but sometimes it does spark a good idea for the office, and we run with it sometimes.
Yeah, I would say that our perspective, and I'm speaking for you guys, if I'm wrong, correct me, but we've had enough conversations. I feel comfortable saying this. We're kind of AI agnostic, man. Where it's good, it's great, fine. We'll use it, we'll adopt it. If it doesn't have, deteriorating effects on industries or consumers or markets, there's no bad or impending negative effect. Absolutely, man. We're game on. We love tech. We're geeks. But right now, I think what we're saying collectively as a group is that AI's applications are nefarious where they're useful right now. So, buyer beware kind of thing, and not buttoned up where we think they can be useful, like predictive analytics, like preempting, optimization and things like that. I think there's a use there, but I don't think that's there yet. So, stay tuned, guys, because if you can't tell, we're the kind of geeks you can come to see if this shit really works. Everybody touts it and sells it. And in our industry, buzzwords always lead core competency. So people get this vernacular and it's popular and it's in tech, but is it really usable? That usually lags behind a couple of years of the buzzwords getting adopted by mainstream, because mainstream marketing, make no mistake, is monkey see, monkey do. And it's a sad state of affairs. I guess that's another uniqueness to us. Maybe we should put that on our new website, guys. So, listen, thanks again, guys, for joining today. I appreciate it. I know I jumped on this last minute, but guys, we're going to do a lot more content. As always, guys, check us out on the OTCQB. SPTY is the ticker symbol. Our stock volume, trade volume is going up. Our company is growing. We can't wait to launch our second quarter, or share and file our second quarter earnings report. Stay tuned for that. As always, guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back at it again soon. Have a kick-ass week.
You've just listened to another episode of With Absolute Specificity. Stay updated on big tech with insights from industry thought leaders. What are you waiting for? Catch more episodes by visiting the website at www.specificityinc.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future releases.